the brother of Jake Paul, who most recently knocked out former NBA player Nate Robinson on the undercard of the Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. exhibition. Oh, Max, what is going on?
Well, Floyd Mayweather figured out a long time ago that the best thing a fighter can do for himself is flip the paradigm. What do I mean by that? For years, for really the history of boxing, the basic paradigm is this: fans and networks exploit fighters, right? We want to see them in great fights. What does that mean? It means we want to see them tested. What does that mean? It means we want to see them hit and hurt. And how do they respond? And can they dig deep and overcome and make great action fights, right? That's what we want to see. Floyd was like, well, actually, from the fighter's point of view, my best interest is take minimal risk, maximum reward, not get hit, get out with all my money and all my marbles, right? Like, that's in the fighter's best interest. Fighters' and fans' interest diametrically opposed. And so what Floyd figured out after a while, for example, with Pacquiao, Stephen A., is I don't have to fight this dude at the height of his powers. I can wait. Okay, I'll fight him now. Now there's pent-up demand. I got to make 5 times more than I would have made back then to fight a guy who's not as dangerous as he was back then. That's smart. And then what he realized is, wait a minute, because Conor McGregor's rise, I don't even have to fight fighters, boxers. I can fight dudes who don't box and make $100 million. Now, what fool wouldn't do that if he could? Why fight a guy who's trained his whole life to box you for $30 million when you can fight a guy who hasn't trained his whole life boxing for $100 million? Well, of course, Floyd's right about that, so that's what he did. And since then, he's realized, Stephen A., he never has to get in the ring with a dude who's trained his whole life to box, and he can make money. Whether it's a Japanese kickboxer, right, who's smaller than him, whether it's Logan Paul, who's a YouTube star who's twice his size, it doesn't matter. If you haven't trained in boxing your whole life, it's easy work for Floyd at any age, and he's going to make tens and tens of millions of dollars to do it.
Max Kellerman, here's where I disagree with you. I think he'd make that money if it was Jake Paul, because Jake Paul is the new sensation because of what he did to Nate Robinson. So, again, we're not talking about anybody. Much respect to the Pauls, because obviously they take this seriously. They're trying to do their old thing, but major props and nothing but respect to the both of them. But in terms of Jake Paul, because of what he did to Nate Robinson, the bottom line is he is the guy that is more popular right now, from my understanding. I could be wrong. I apologize if I am. But from my understanding, I think he's the guy that is more popular because of what he did to Nate, who Floyd knows, because Floyd knows a lot of these NBA players. And a lot of these NBA players talk to Floyd. So seeing what happened to Nate Robinson was not a good thing. And Floyd was very encouraging on social media to Nate Robinson, giving him a lot of props for being brave enough to step in that squared circle. And I appreciate that from Floyd. But I'm just saying, when I think about Floyd, first of all, it's the wrong Paul. If he's going to fight either one of them, it's the wrong Paul that he's fighting, because Jake is the rage right now, as opposed to Logan, from my understanding. And then outside of that, me personally, if it's an exhibition, I would prefer to see them I'd rather see Floyd against Oscar De La Hoya. I'd rather see Floyd in a rematch against Conor McGregor. I'd rather see something like that rather than him fight a guy that just learning how to, and I'm not saying learn how, but please, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm in no way am I trying to be disrespectful to the Pauls, but I'm just saying in terms of their official boxing experience.
For guys who just started.
They're just starting. I'm like, no, if you Floyd, do an exhibition against someone. Like, I didn't like how Roy looked, okay? But Roy is a former world champion who had over 50 fights on his resume that decided to get into the ring with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson didn't get in the ring with somebody that had one professional fight. And I don't understand that with Floyd. I don't understand that to me.
Logan Paul actually has more Twitter and Instagram followers than Jake Paul. They both have in the millions.
No, I'm just talking about right now, Matt.
Even bigger because of the Nate social Robinson media.
Yeah, I'm just talking about because of Nate Robinson.
Sure, but maybe Floyd's looking at Jake like, maybe Floyd's looking at them like, Jake is going to be a little harder. Logan will be like, who knows? The point is, he is going to go make a big event and make many millions of dollars for boxing a guy who hasn't been boxing his whole life. He's figured that out. He could do that till he's 75 and make money every time. By the way, Mike and Roy just moved 1.4 million pay-per-views.
1.4 million.
That's more than like Triple G and Canelo. Fame sells.
We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we got more boxing to dive into later here, guys. Time to go. Steelers handed their first L with the Chiefs dominate this Pittsburgh Monday Night Football winless streak, defeating the Niners 34-24. Josh Allen played a near perfect game, completing 32 of 40 passes for 375 yards and 4 touchdowns. Max, what do you think here? Is Josh Allen an elite quarterback now?
Yeah, he is. Josh Allen, I think, joined the elite, and I think he joined it with that performance, last night. I think he joined the elite. Guys, because when you say elite, has he won a Super Bowl yet? No, like none of that stuff, right? But when you say elite, you must take a lot of things into consideration. What's the guy's trajectory? Is he likely to continue this? Is this fluky? Is it because of what he has around him, or is it because of his play? I have to say, Josh Allen entered the league as a 22-year-old quarterback. I thought he was drafted too high. I could see he had a big arm, but I was suspicious of his ability to play the position. By the way, I was suspicious of Trubisky. I was suspicious of Lamar Jackson, and some of them have proven me wrong to one degree or another, right? But what I saw with Josh Allen was just a big arm. He had something like 10 touchdowns. I was trying to refer to my notes right as you came to me, Molly. Something like 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. It was more interceptions than touchdowns or something close to it as a rookie quarterback. But you're 22 years old. You know, I get it. Then last year, he was better. His completion percentage jumps like 10 points. He's going like from 50 to like 60%, right? Something like that. And his touchdown to interception ratio is nice. And he looks like a solid, ascending, middle-of-the-pack quarterback. And then this year, yeah, he's had some ups and downs along the way, but the man's completing like 70% of his passes. He's among active quarterbacks. Remember, Dak hasn't played in forever. He's top 5 QBR. His touchdown interception ratio has improved again. You can see that it's up on the screen, the passing yards, the touchdowns, the whole thing. Because that QBR, take Dak Prescott out, right? He has barely played. It's top 5, in fact. Yeah, given his age, now 24, who would you take over him in the AFC? I got 2 guys. I'll take Patrick Mahomes over anyone ever. I'll take Deshaun Watson, especially the way he's been playing recently. If you're the 3rd best quarterback in your conference and you're ascending and continually getting better, 24 years old, coming off your best career performance, I have to say you're elite. Josh Allen's an elite quarterback.
I like Josh Allen a lot. I'm very, very fond of him. And I think he has tremendous promise. I'm not willing to give him that yet. I will acknowledge that he's thrown for over 300 yards on 6 times this season. 2 of those times, Max Kellerman, he's thrown for over 400 yards. Do you know who those 400-yard games were against? Miami and Seattle. So I can't ignore what we're seeing from Josh Allen. But with that being said, you know me, it's about what you do when it counts. And I watched him in the playoffs last year against Houston. Yeah, he completed about 52% of his passes, didn't throw an interception, but didn't throw a touchdown either. I want to see what happens when time calls for you to show up and produce. It's nice for you to see what you're doing as a front runner in the AFC East, doing what you've been doing, buffered by that defense and the coaching that you're receiving as well, because I think they're doing a hell of a job. And it doesn't fall on deaf ears that you went from completing 58% of your passes last year to 69% of them this year. That's coaching. That's the kind of stuff that you need to see. And so I'm impressed with it. I just need to see you do it when it counts. Let's see what you do when you go up against New England. All right, because you got another meeting with them coming up this year. Let's see what you do when you go up against Miami again. Let's see what happens come playoff time. Those are the 3 occasions that I'm looking for, and until then, the jury is still out. He's good. I like him. He deserves to be the starting quarterback for the Bills with tremendous promise, no question. But in terms of calling him elite, I'm going to hold out judgment for that. I want to see it first. Well, I want to see more evidence.
If you ask me, did he prove he's an elite quarterback, then I would have to agree with you. If it was, did he prove it? Because I would like to wait for the playoffs too. But that's not what I'm saying here. I'm saying right now, you're asking me point blank, do I think right now, not if I can prove it or not, he's elite? My answer is yes. If I had to say yes or no, my answer is yes. Stephen A., if you go as a 22-year-old, your touchdown interception ratio is 1-to-1, you have a losing record. As a 23-year-old, it's like, this is generalization, generalizing, like rounding numbers, but 50% complete.